Hey guys. So I came across a scary story earlier, where it was about like stalkers, like creepers, you know, those people. And this story had a twist because normally it's like stories of girls saying, you know, this fucking guy was obsessed with me from my class at school, and then he's, you know, turned into a fucking creepy stalker and was like lurking me all the time. Or, you know, that's like usually how those stories go. But this one was from the guy's perspective, where he was like talking about how he was like a social noob and didn't know how to like deal with people and stuff, and he liked this girl, but then he like fucked it up. He was like a little bit too full on too early in the piece, because she worked on the radio, so he like knew all this stuff about her, but she'd only met him once. So anyway, so she like freaked out and was like, okay, get away from me. And yeah, and then it was like in the story, I'm not like reciting the story. Well, I didn't mean to, but the point is that while he's explaining like his side of things, like, you know, how he was perceived as the creepy guy, but he wasn't actually a creepy guy, you know, it was all like, you know, innocent misunderstanding kind of thing. He mentioned the fact, like, you know, it's like in the movies, you know, you just persist and persist, and, you know, you hear like in movies and stuff, there's all these great stories about how, you know, the person persists and then the girl just swoons and it's all like, you know, happily ever after. And I've been thinking about this like for a while, like before I even heard this story, I've been thinking about it. But then when I heard this story earlier, I was like, I've got to say it. Movies and TV have a whole fucking lot of shit to answer for. Like the absolute bullshit scenarios that they put into movies, but we all watch it and we all like, no. But if that was in reality, you'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, get away from me. Like, you know, the scene, and there's the guy and he's fucking playing his guitar and throwing stones at the bedroom window, and she comes to the window and she's like, oh. Like, in reality, if there was someone doing that to you, I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be your reaction. You'd be like, what the fuck? How did you know where I live? What the fuck are you doing in my house in the middle of the night? Like, fuck off. Like, don't fucking talk to me ever again. Like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure that would be a more accurate representation of how that scenario would play out. Unless it was someone that you were totally also really liked. Like, say you were already like kind of together, but you had a fight, or yeah, like you both liked each other but nothing had come of it, or something like that. Maybe those scenarios, like, maybe, but you gotta know your audience, you know what I mean? Like, finding out where the girl from class lives and going and lurking her house, thinking that it's gonna play out just like in the movies, and she's just gonna fucking think that you're just like so romantic and the best thing ever. Don't do that. Because she won't. She just won't. It's actually happened to me once, where there was this guy, and I guess we were like friends. We were friends because of my friend. Like, he initially really liked my friend, and then I guess he thought he would settle for me, so he latched onto me instead. I don't know, maybe he thought like I was like the duff friend, so you know, he'd have more of a chance with me or something like that. He was mistaken. But nonetheless, there was a day where he came to my house. He had legitimate reason for knowing where I lived, because like he had dropped me off at my house like previously and stuff, like once when we'd all been out like all together and stuff like that. So he wasn't like doing some crazy detective work to find out where I lived, like, so it wasn't that. But I can't remember what the reason for this impromptu visit to my house was. I'm not one of those people that's like, just drop in anytime. Like, my house is like my zone. Like, if I'm not expecting you to come, then don't. Like, my house is already kind of sending that message anyway. Like, you know, it's like the 6 foot tall, spiky, picketed black fence. You know, it's not really, you know, welcoming to random visitors. Like, come on in. It's, you know, it's sort of giving the fuck off vibe from the street anyway. But apparently, that was lost on him. And he came on by anyway and refused to leave because until I talked to him, I think I was just like ignoring him or something. Like, I wouldn't like respond to messages or answer his calls and stuff like that. So he just like showed up at my house and insisted that he wasn't leaving until I spoke to him. So I guess I was pissed off with him for some reason. I don't know. This is when I was a teenager, so who the fuck knows? Something trivial, no doubt. And probably also something that most people would have been like, if you're gonna get pissed off at that, then like eat a dick. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something, like, I don't imagine it was like some huge catastrophic scenario that took place where he was like, where like, you know, anyone would have lost sleep over it, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure it was like, yeah, just like some trivial shit, like, that would have probably gotten worked out in time anyway. Like, no huge, you know, life-altering catastrophe. Yeah, so I still ended up not speaking to him. I ended up contacting someone else who was also friends with him, and then they contacted him and was like, you're being a real freako, like, just go, you're only making shit worse for yourself, just go home. And, yeah, so they did. But yeah, you know, like, it didn't, like, do you understand what I'm saying? I hope you do. And I hope that people will stop basing real life expectations on what happens in the movies, because movies are absolute bullshit, and the romantic scenarios that play out in movies are absolute bullshit. Like, doesn't happen. Maybe like once in a million time, maybe it'll happen. But nothing in my life ever has ever happened where I've been like, fuck, that was just like that movie that I saw. No, like, it doesn't happen. So, you know, if that changes, I will let you know. If I have some, you know, movie-like romantic experience, I'll let you know. But until that point comes, never. Just don't. Okay? What goes on in the real world is what you should, you know, base your expectations off, not on what happened in Sleeping Beauty or, you know, whatever. Yes, you know, I have bittered with age, but it's still just the way it is. I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, that's all. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you soon.